Elite Barbarians, what's up? What's up, Elite Barbarians? Yo, what's good? What's good, Barbarians? Elite Barbarians! Elite Barbarians! Elite Barbarians!
For this topic I'm using a broad term instead of a single secret society by name, though specific examples might include Anton LaVey's Church of Satan, the Cult of Cthulhu, or perhaps the Hellfire Club. The reason I'm jumbling them all together in one pot is because they tend to share the same symbols, and there does appear to be a theme of Satanism in Eyes Wide Shut. Probably the most well-known clue is the use of Romanian Orthodox Church music, the Divine Liturgy, played backwards in the ritual scene. Actually, it's just the vocals that are backwards. The piece was created along with its reverse chanting in 1997 by its composer Jocelyn Pook, 2 years before Eyes Wide Shut's release. Kubrick loved it and included it in his Eyes Wide Shut ritual. But surely the implication of the Divine Liturgy, a deeply spiritual piece, played backward carries implications of the ritual being blasphemous. I don't know why Jocelyn Pook decided to play it backwards originally, but Kubrick's choice to use it speaks for itself. Add to that the fact that the film is set around Christmas, and this is the first indoor location of the movie that has no Christmas decorations whatsoever. And there's the sexuality of the ritual and the timing. Nick said they get started around 2 a.m.
As a matter of fact, I got another gig later tonight.
Playing somewhere else tonight?
They only get started there around 2.
The witching hour, also known as the devil's hour, begins at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. depending on which...
Playing somewhere else tonight?
They only get started there around 2.
The witching hour, also known as the devil's hour, begins at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. depending on which occult source you read. That's the time occultists believe that demons and witches are most active and most powerful. Let's move on to specific symbols, beginning with the pentagram, an old pagan symbol used widely in horror fiction and heavy metal artwork to denote evil, especially when positioned upside down. Now, I've heard rumours that there's a deleted moment where there's a pentagram on the floor, but those rumours are unsubstantiated. In fact, Kubrick's brother-in-law and executive producer of the film, and what better a source, explains in the Stanley Kubrick Archives book that after Kubrick died, the film wasn't re-edited by the studios. The remaining alterations to music, colour balancing and the likes were made by the team at the Kubrick estate and overseen by Jan Harlan himself. The studio didn't re-edit the film. However, a very sneaky inclusion of pentagrams occurs in the Ziegler Party. Not these big snowflake type things, they are almost certainly the Star of Ishtar, but as far as I know that's not a symbol used specifically by any secret society. It carries other connotations which will be outlined in a separate video I'll be making about Eyes Wide Shut and sexuality. Instead, the pentagrams are found here, but they're disguised by the colourful Christmas lights. Look at the flower stem frames holding the Christmas lights. They're pentagrams. Less conclusive as potential pentagram symbols are the 5-pointed stars high up on the walls in the toy store at the end of the film. One of the Barbie doll boxes has a 5-pointed star window in it. And on the curtains in the daughter's bedroom are green 5-pointed stars in a strip. The most visible one is upside down. Those examples I'm willing to take with a pinch of salt, but these ones are more suspicious. Other possibly satanic details include the anti-clockwise walking of Red Cloak in the circle, the incense ball as an item used in religious ceremonies, and the fact that all of the women, including Red Cloak, bow. What are they bowing to? Probably the light of their god directly above. And even human sacrifice is suggested at the end of the scene.
What is going to happen to that woman?
No one can change her fate now. When a promise has been made here, there is no turning back.
Two more details that are not conclusive, but are certainly possibilities, is that the character Sandor Savost, who tries to seduce Alice with surprisingly hypnotic charm, she appears to be almost drugged. His name could be an intended reference to Anton Sandor LaVey, founder of the Church of Satan. Kinda fits with the presence of pentagrams when he first appears on screen. And one detail I found curious is this Christmas decoration. I looked at it and couldn't help suspect some sort of symbolism, like maybe a set of goat horns and eyes, something like that. The cafe name Sharkies as well sounds kinda threatening. Yeah, I know, probably just reading things in, but it's okay to mention possibilities, right? After all, this is a scene where Bill is feeling threatened on account of a guy following him in the street. And the same decoration appears inside Ziegler's house right before the pool room scene. So various suggestions of Satanism, some very strong ones like backward music, the witching hour and lack of Christmas decorations at Christmas, and some throwaway ones. This stuff may all sound like Kubrick was nuts and paranoid, but there are certainly many occultist, satanic and witchcraft-based organisations in the world today. Some are public entities, and there may be some entirely secret ones as well. And there are lots of websites and forums dedicated to such things. I don't mean conspiracy theorist websites, I mean enthusiasts of occultism. Although The Cult and Occult book by Francis King, that's a book that is in the Stanley Kubrick archives as a piece of research material, although that book contains a lot of questionable claims and stuff I consider downright wacky, the author certainly believes most of what he's saying. So I hunted down another of his works called The Secret Rituals of the OTO. That's another secret society we'll be exploring later. The book describes the 9 degrees of initiation for the OTO, at least what the author perceives them to be. The first 6 degrees, he says, are mostly imported from Freemasonry, but I was quite surprised to find that the later degrees gradually introduced the initiate to sex magic and the worship of Baphomet, aka Satan, though the author also equates Baphomet with other gods such as Zeus. The degrees gradually but openly describe Christianity as the enemy, and even states that, quote, there may be a darkness that is more than all your light.
Hey yo, I'll watch this movie with you.
The author says that the version of the rituals he describes adhere to the original ones set out by Aleister Crowley when he was head of the OTO before he died. Now personally, I'm not religious. I'm sort of halfway between agnostic and atheist, so I don't believe in any institutional religion. I find the ideas interesting and sometimes even useful, but that's it. So to me, the mortal enemy positions between the Catholic Church and the occult are just two competing hypocrisies. The hypocrisy is so bad that Crowley has been quoted as saying that, quote, hate itself is almost like love. Fighting most certainly is love, end quote. At one point he describes love as orgiastic. No doubt a bit of the sex magic enthusiast surfacing there.
Let's see, how long will this take?
Fuck.
Alright. I will. Oh, what's a good thing to watch?
But I warn you, if you make any further inquiries, or if you say a single word to anyone about what you have seen, there will be the most dire consequences for you and your family. Do you understand?
Let's see. Oh, 15 minutes. 15 minutes.
Very well.
There are not many movies that can make you forget you are watching one while you are watching one. Movies that almost put a spell on you for 2 to 3 hours, where you are fully immersed in what can only really be called an experience. And
Alright.
then when it's over,
I'm just be
you
watching
go,
vids then.
Damn. Eyes Wide Shut is one of those movies. It pulls you in and hypnotizes you in a way that most movies simply can't. And just like its main protagonist, makes you feel like you saw something that you are not supposed to see. Adapted from the 1926 German novella Dream Story, Eyes Wide Shut follows Bill Harford, a wealthy doctor living with his wife Nicole Kidman in New York. A lucky son of a bitch who starts freaking out when the day after coming home from an upper class party hosted by his wealthy aristocratic patient and friend Ziegler, Kim and his wife get into a heated argument, and she reveals to him, while they are blazing it mind you, that she had an affair with someone else in her dream. What? So when he learns about this, he freaks out and goes on one crazy, spiteful adventure through New York to cope with the fact that he got cucked in his wife's dream. Damn. But it's the way the story unfolds, which gradually gets more and more extreme in the situations Bill gets himself into. He goes on a house call to a patient, and then the patient's daughter confesses her love for him.
I love you.
Right in front of her dad, who is literally dead right there in the same room.
Oh, it says I'm streaming tonight.
And she's married. Get a grip, lady. So he leaves and then gets assaulted by a group of frat bros. Then he bumps into a hooker called Domino, like the pizza, but he resists her advances and leaves. Then he walks into a random cafe and meets up with his old friend Nick Nightingale, so he can invite himself to a secret masked party in upstate New York. So he goes to get a mask and costume from this Russian guy's place and bribes him to open up shop in the middle of the night so he can get a mask and a cape.
$100.
Yes.
But when he goes inside, he sees that the owner's daughter is being pimped out to these two Japanese guys. Huh?
I'm afraid that's out of the question.
Then he rocks up to the party where a group of masked elites seemingly fulfill their wildest desires. Huh? But because he's an idiot, outed himself in front of all the masked elites.
Get undressed.
Oh boy. But luckily, they let him go in exchange for this mysterious woman who weirdly sacrificed her life for his.
Let him go.
Then he goes home and sleeps it off. Then, over the next 2 days, nearly self-destructs into his own paranoia and confusion about the whole situation as he tries to piece together the pieces of the puzzle which are all hidden in plain sight before him. When I explain it like that, it sounds simple. But like all of Kubrick's films, the devil is in the details, and it's always what's behind the curtain that you can't see, which is always more interesting than what you can. It's such a weird, strange movie that glorifies speculation after speculation, conspiracy after conspiracy about the nature of its scenes and what its true intention really is. And after every viewing, there are always new thoughts and realizations that pop into your mind. It's insane. Is it merely a disturbing satire about a guy who gets blue-balled for 2.5 hours? Who is the man in the red coat? Is it about the fragility of marriage? Who is the masked man that nods to Bill? Is Bill being followed? Is it about the nature of desire and its potential consequences? What happened to Nick Nightingale? Did Kubrick make the film to make Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman divorce? Did he make this film to warn us about Scientology because he, in his wife's words, lost his daughter to Scientology? Why is Tom's tooth perfectly aligned in the center of his face? Is this what happens when you take the wrong turn at Balenciaga? Did that prostitute really just happen to die of an overdose, or was she murdered? Is this Bohemian Grove? Or is this entire movie just a subtle expose of the wealthy elite which host sick, twisted parties on a realm the common man cannot even fathom? And when someone tries to speak out, they die under suspicious circumstances. Yes, what makes Eyes Wide Shut so special though is its very weirdly crafted dream-like atmosphere, and how it draws you into what is this nightmare blunt rotation scenario, which is what leaves you to question if anything was even real, in which Bill has one long night of exploring, who he is, what are his desires, and then ultimately declining into paranoia as he is forced to confront every stupid mistake he stupidly made the night before. Here's the thing, Bill is wealthy. He is a rich old guy. He throws around cash willy-nilly. He can bribe his way into places. minutes.
$100.
He rips up $100 notes like it's nothing. He is what most people would consider the 1% to be. But it's not until he gets a small glimpse at the top 1% of the 1% does he realise that he is in way over his depth, and is just a shock to him as it is to us. I've seen many horror movies. I've seen some very creepy and disturbing scenes, but no scene has evoked a strange level of dread in me that the masked party scene has, while still maintaining this dreamlike, hazy quality to it. There are just so many different interpretations you can ponder that it causes your mind to endlessly question and maybe even potentially overanalyze the details. I'll give you an example. It's never quite 100% confirmed, but it's alleged that this guy in the tricorn hat that nods to Bill is actually Ziegler.
Ziegler?
But I don't know for sure. Maybe he was actually the one to notice that he was an outsider and to test him further to confirm his suspicion.
Those were not just ordinary people there. If I told you their names, I'm not going to tell you their names, but if I did, I don't think you'd sleep so well.
You can't be 100% certain. I never really got the vibe that this guy was trying to save Bill, but really just test to see if he is an interloper. But you'll never be able to fully understand it, and you always fear.
What you don't understand, dog.
The entire sequence is like 25 minutes long, but pacing-wise, it feels like it's just 3 minutes, because it so perfectly envelops the viewer into Bill's shoes that you just lose track of time with how fucking weird and mythical it is.
Please, come forward.
Its ambience, its vibe, and its setting is like a horror movie. There are so many subtle details that you completely miss because you are so caught up in the visuals and the way the scene is actually presented to you. The masked attendees. You know, if you actually stop and analyze the masks themselves, each one is unique and tells its own story, which is just very eerie. Especially considering each one of these masks hides an elite or famous wealthy individual, which is clearly fiction and not ever representative of anything that has happened in real life ever. Actually, I don't know what I'm even talking about. This movie next. A lot of the not ever representative of anything that has happened in real life ever. Actually, I don't know what I'm even talking about. This movie next. A lot of the masks are Venetian of anything that has happened in real life ever. Actually, I don't know what I'm even talking about. This movie next. A lot of the masks are Venetian in nature. This mask looks like a plague doctor, which, you know, the plague hit Venice pretty hard back in the 1300s. There's a Donald Trump mask. This mask, all the way back there, looks like George Soros. There's even an Illuminati mask. Bill outs himself partly because he chooses the mask of a commoner, the Volto mask, which accentuates the eyes, whereas the other masked members have the eyes distorted or covered completely. Thematically, the masks themselves are important to the film's narrative and have symbolic purpose. It's all about cover-ups, and it's about the lies we tell to each other. I mean, Bill was already involved in a mini cover-up at the start of the film, at Ziegler's party when a prostitute, Mandy, has an overdose, and he calls in Bill to see if he can save her the situation. Ziegler is shown to be a very wealthy and well-known individual with a reputation to uphold, so this would obviously be a disaster to his well-being, and it's just uncomfortable to me how he kind of wags his finger at her like, you didn't say the magic word, calls her kiddo.
That was really one hell of a scare you gave us, kiddo.
And she apologizes.
Sorry.
The audacity of this man. There's so many different thoughts and feelings that enter your mind as you watch this. The man in the red cloak doing this weird ritual with a staff and a smoking bowl and a chain. The setting itself, you know, the mid-1800s Victorian architecture is just dazzling, but creepy at the same time. All of the exterior shots from the outside of the mansion are actually from Mentmore Towers, which was originally built for the Rothschilds actually. The ritual itself is a Christian sermon, delivered in Romanian, but played in reverse, which is what gives it that strange, eerie feel to the whole thing.
Please.
The ringleader in the red cloak has this mocking, happy manner about him.
Get undressed. Yes. You will kindly remove your mask. That's unfortunate.
It's just so strange and weird. I love it. Personally, I went into this film raw. I had no idea what it was about. All I knew was that it had Tom Cruise and that Harvey Keitel left the project because he was frustrated with Kubrick's directing style.
Is that the Brooklyn in you, do you think? It's a sense of worth in me.
So imagine experiencing this for the first time. I feel like it's easy to get lost trying to figure out the hidden messages of Kubrick's films, that you forget the emotional and visceral response you get from actually watching his films. The lighting is very aesthetically beautiful, while still conveying subtle insights into the theme of its narrative. It's not like conventional movie lighting, and it's not made to look or feel realistic. The cinematography and specific framing, staging, and blocking of certain images is extremely intentional in what it wants you to see. I actually don't think there is anyone that can make a movie like this anymore. It's just extinct. Like, you really just don't get scenes looking like that today. The use of colour is genius, and is what really ties the whole film together. Primarily you see gold for wealth, red for danger and desire. In fact, red being almost everywhere makes the whole film feel very claustrophobic at times. And blue, which is uncertainty or genuine unease. Throughout the entire film, you will see some type of combination of the three, whether it be people and places within the scenes, or directional lighting, like gold lit rooms or the blue moon illuminating the ground. It's really hammering home how it wants you to feel, and to some I could imagine how it feels kind of obnoxious with the obviously unrealistic lighting, but I say no. Again, it just adds and doubles down to that dreamy, even fever dreamlike quality about it. So when daylight hits, it feels like the filter has been washed away, and it's more realistic in tone and atmosphere, and loses that dreamlike quality to benefit the conspiracy about what happened to Bill the night before. How accurate was everything, you know? You question if he is going crazy. It's like when you have a crazy dream the night before, but when you try and remember every detail about it, you get frustrated because no matter how hard you try, you can never get to relive it again in everyday life. From a technical standpoint, all of these elements feel both distant yet very in your face, hidden but obvious. It just makes you get lost in this one night fueled by spite and ego. It's not really something that can be put into words. It's something you have to experience for yourself. Eyes Wide Shut is simply a brilliant film. A film that is so visually memorable. One of those films that just stays with you in your mind forever, because it's the music that haunts you. At first, it's this bittersweet melody that introduces us to the upper class of New York. Then a hum at an alien-like frequency in an unknown language. Then there is this repetitive two-note rhythm which just pierces the soul, and not in a good way, and dominates the second half of the film. The characters in this film aren't really like real characters as much as they are archetypes to represent warnings for Bill. Warnings for infidelity, potential warnings for the future of his daughter if his marriage collapses, warnings for keeping or speaking out about conspiracies with no definite proof. The thing about Kubrick is that almost everything you see in the frame or the background is intentional, more so than other directors. This is not the New York you are familiar with, because it's not. Every exterior sequence in the city was shot on a soundstage in England, meaning that everything down to the buildings, the posters, the trash on the ground, the cars parked on the street, the extras are all intentionally placed there to look like that, for you to see, because that is the intention. Eyes Wide Shut is a film where every frame is a painting, every character a warning, and every scene a masterclass in atmosphere and tension. 1999 was without a doubt probably the best year for movies probably ever. You had The Sixth Sense, Toy Story 2, The Matrix, Austin Powers, The Blair Witch Project, Phantom Menace, Office Space, Fight Club, Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, Green Mile, American Beauty, I'm Not Done, Being John Malkovich, The South Park Movie, 10 Things I Hate About You, Magnolia, The Mummy, Notting Hill, American Pie, The Iron Giant, fucking The Wild Wild West movie with Will Smith, and Eyes Wide Shut to really cement the year as one of the best in cinema history. And I kid you not, there really isn't another movie that will make you feel indescribable strange emotions quite like this film will evoke in you to feel. What an incredible film to top off a career, and it's especially funny that the last word from this prestigious director is
fuck. I am watch this movie, but this movie in not Netflix.
Hold on, check this website out. Look, check this website out. F movies.
Try the website movies. See if it works for you.
Oh. Dang.
I will do so.
Hold on, I'm gonna download it right now.
I'm enjoying your stream, BTW. Have you posted it in the KickFam Discord server yet?
The KickFam Discord server yet?
Hi everyone.
Rui Sinet.
Brew.
Rui Sinet.
Brew.
This guy's the Kai Sinet on YouTube. Hello?
We are at the beginning of a historic discovery. We are going to spend 8 days in total darkness to explore the exact depth of Krubera Cave, which scientists consider to be the deepest cave in the world. We are even hoping to discover new animal species that have been isolated in this subterranean world for millions of years. During this expedition, we are going to cover a distance of almost 5 kilometers, and every one of us will lose 10 kilograms on average.
Curiosity brought me here, but it is too risky. Let's descend to the deepest point of the world's deepest cave.
The explored part of Krubera is 2,199 meters deep, but its true depth is still a mystery.
Yo,
The
people
last
died
update to
here.
its map was over a decade ago.
Now I'm going to secure myself. I'm going to put this mark
7
here.
kilometers down?
Secure the gate. I'm going to tie this new station's rope to my stop descender
5?
to descend further. I'm good to go. I'll take
2.
this securing
It does
point off.
7,000 meters. Oh, feet.
Jamar, take it off. Time to descend.
I'm gonna call this guy out. The guy sounds like he's from EU, but he's using feet.
Dangerous siphon never passed until now. Yet our goal with the Russian speleologist team is to push further. I even signed a contract accepting that this expedition could literally cost me my life. For over 20 years, Crimean Federal University. Today, we are at the beginning of a historic discovery. We are going to spend 8 days in total darkness to explore the exact depth of Krubera Cave, which science.
Rui Sinet.
Yeah, this bad.
This guy's this guy out. The guy sounds like he's from EU.
Accessible point. There lies a dangerous siphon never passed until now. Yet our goal with the Russian speleologist
Wait,
team
is
is
it?
to push further.
Alright, 1 minute 32 seconds. My bad.
Sandan, the largest cave on our planet. This cave is so massive that it has a completely self-sustaining ecosystem with its own climate conditions. Hundreds of meters underground, the clouds you're used to seeing in the sky form inside this cave. Sandan even has an untouched prehistoric rainforest hidden far below the surface, and a vast underground river. From transparent fish to colorful monkeys, over 250 endemic plant and animal species live in this underground world. 7 new animal species were recently discovered here and are unique to this place. Stretching 9 kilometers.
Damn.
2 massive dew lines, and from here on, things will get more incredible. The temperature difference between the outside and the inside.
I think this one. I'll check. Alright, let's see if you watch this one.
And many other gangs. These are animals. These aren't people. They're psychopaths, sociopaths, the kind of people we have here.
We are about to see the worst of the worst. Welcome to CCOT, the world's largest prison by capacity in El Salvador, which was constructed to imprison the highest profile criminals. Those who enter this prison are destined never to leave alive.
There's no way out. How are you gonna come out of this?
The reason why this small country of 6 million needs the largest prison is the gangs. Once dominating the country, these gangs faced a dramatic crackdown starting in March 2022. Under President Nayib Bukele's administration, over 70,000 individuals, about 2% of the country's adult population, were arrested within just 16 months. Buses transported thousands of chained gang members to CCOT in a tightly coordinated nighttime operation. Sitting one behind the other, heads lowered, they looked like a single mass. Surrounded by armed guards, none of them dared to resist commands. Their life has changed in a day. In this documentary, we will interview one of them, one of the most ruthless gang leaders, known by the nickname Psycho.
10 minutes. You only have 10 minutes.
Built in 2022, this massive prison is made up of 8 separate modules spread over 410 acres of land. Each pair of modules is enclosed by 2 separate 3-meter-high walls with razor wire. The entire facility is surrounded by a towering 9-meter-high wall with a 3-meter-high electric fence carrying 15,000 volts. 19 watchtowers are ensuring nothing escapes notice. The entire design doesn't just prevent escape, it erases the very idea of it.
Yo, this is impossible. Yo, if you're here, that's
Hello,
over.
we have permission from the presidency.
The soldiers stopped us. We're hoping this will be the last checkpoint. The jammers blocked all signals within a 2-kilometer radius of CCOT, completely cutting off all communication. Over 600 soldiers work only to secure the perimeter.
We are going to leave all of our belongings here before entering the prison. We will only carry our cameras and microphones, that's it.
Pass slowly. Look at the camera, the body scan.
I forgot my wedding ring on.
Well, that needs to be put away over there.
This high-capacity X-ray scanner even shows bones and internal organs. It's mainly used to scan newcomers, ensuring no one tries to sneak in anything forbidden on their body before entering.
The inmates used to swallow some objects, or they would try to bring them in vaginally or anally. Micro SD memory cards, microchips, and not only that, even phone chargers.
Another thorough body search has been conducted.
Bro, this is like a...
Take off your shoes.
This is a crazy...
They even inspected inside our socks. It took us around 1 hour just to pass through security, even though we were invited as media after months of applying.
Guards are wearing masks because they're doing a risky job here. So if they get identified, it might be riskier for them to go to town centers because these gangs, they have a lot of connections. So they have to keep their identity secret. Why don't you wear a mask?
I have to talk to them face to face, looking them in the eye. They already know who I am.
We're in the registration room. This area is for inmates only. When a criminal is captured on the street, they don't carry ID or give their real name. That's why their fingerprints and photographs are taken here to enroll in the system. Once they become a permanent part of CCOT, the inmates lose all contact with loved ones for the rest of their lives, as family visits are strictly forbidden. It's also important to note that a small number of innocent people were mistakenly imprisoned during the big crackdown. Because of the no-contact policy, their families have no idea where they are or if they are still alive. For some, this documentary could be their first chance to see a missing loved one. Before entering the modules where the inmates are, we visit the armory of the prison. This section is a must in case of possible riots, and these convicts are the most unsafe people on Earth.
The type of firearm we use is a T65 rifle, similar to the M16 rifle. We also have this other firearm, which is a 12-gauge shotgun. A Sig Sauer rifle allows us to maneuver in spaces that are too tight to move.
Whenever criminals are arrested and dragged to the bus, various cuffs and chains are used to restrict their movements and minimize the risk of harm to officers.
Has there ever been a riot?
So far, there have been no escape attempts. We have the worst of the worst within criminal organizations here.
The riot gear consists of a head protection, a face shield, neck protection, an anti-trauma vest, leg protectors, shin guards, and of course, a shield.
Generally, in the prisons, we see inmates invent any kind of handmade weapon, like awls or knives.
They are fully protected. You can see how he protects his feet. Since this prison is so large, we have to hop on this bus. We are entering the module area.
To keep the country safe, 1,000 staff members work inside CCOM.
It is impossible, but let's just imagine that an inmate get out of the fortress.
Bro, there's like...
The pebbles that you see are put here intentionally because when they walk on these pebbles, it works like an alarm system. It makes a noise, they cannot sneak away.
Have they tried to escape? No. Did they try?
Bro, it would be like scary. It would actually be scary going there.
Through a series of security rings.
It would actually be scary.
CCOM was built with its own infrastructure in an isolated area, including an electrical and sewage system to prevent external interference. In case of an electricity cut or water supply issue, the cisterns and power plants will maintain operations for up to a week.
I'm so excited. We're gonna be face to face with the most dangerous criminals in the world. It is pretty tense. We are entering one of the modules now.
You are seeing the third and fourth modules next to each other. An offender who enters one of these buildings never exits through these doors. In a few steps, we'll be surrounded by more than 2,500 inmates. It's like stepping in the middle of controlled chaos.
This is so intense.
Their eyes are all on me, following my every step.
Getting an eye contact with them. There are so many of them. I'm speechless. I can't help but feel unease. All of them wear white shirts, shorts, and slippers. They don't have any other belongings.
Most are barely out of their early 20s and convicted of serious offenses. Even the most infamous criminals in history have an average of 20 to 30 proven victims. But here, some of the inmates are responsible for hundreds of innocent people's lives.
Can I ask the inmates something?
No. If you have any questions, I can answer them for you.
If they try to communicate with me now, what are you gonna do?
I'm not going to allow them. They know from them that subsequently there may be a penalty for not abiding by an instruction.
I'm curious to know which of these group leaders I'll be interviewing.
It is forbidden for us to pass this yellow line because these are one of the most dangerous human beings on Earth.
Without the bars between us, everyone knows exactly what could happen. There are 32 cells in every one of the 8 modules making up the mega prison. Each cell holds around 80 inmates, but the number can go as high as 150. Despite not being
Bro, it looks like Squid Game.
The inmates only have 0.5 square meters of personal space each. Prisoners do not have any ventilation rights or courtyards to walk outside their cell.
Each inmate here have been given one of the longest sentences you can even imagine in your life. The only thing that these inmates will never get outside. They will never see sunlight. The only people are authorized to get inside and outside are the personnel and sometimes media like us. They will never ever leave this building. If you see their look, you can see the emptiness in their soul. They don't have any hope towards future. They look very robotic. Their life is so monotone.
This open corner is their toilet area.
They have like 2 toilets for 80 inmates. It's literally humiliating these inmates. Like their whole confidence is disciplined here.
The same place where they use the toilet is also where they take showers. To clean themselves, they use plastic dippers in a single shared basin. There's no running water in the cells, so the prisoners have to rely on one blue barrel for drinking water.
Where they sleep is these metal bunks. No pillow, no mattress. Each prisoner receives just the bare essentials: a white sheet, a uniform, socks, slippers, and a towel. That's it.
The prisoners spend their entire days on their 4-level bunk beds. They have stacked tightly, like items stored in a warehouse. As part of hygiene and order, inmates are shaved every 2 weeks by personnel. Long hair or beards aren't just unhygienic, they can also hide sharp objects.
Let's take a look. Take off your shirt and line up here.
Now they are taking their shirts off.
These inmates were once part of the MS-13 and Barrio 18 gangs, which controlled the neighborhoods of El Salvador. These two rival gangs spent years extorting money from locals and causing great suffering to Salvadorans.
There is Barrio 18, MS-13 gangs all together in one cell.
That's right, just like that. The entire module is the same. They all live like this.
Outside, entering each other's neighborhood could mean being torn apart. Yet here, they are side by side until their last breath.
How do they live without attacking one another?
They have to learn how to live together. Here, they are in a prison. They are not on the street.
Most of the inmates have tattoos covering their entire body, even including their faces, showing their loyalty structure. For MS-13, tattoos often include initial letters or the number 13. Members of the other gang use symbols like 18 or 666, which add up to 18 and symbolize the devil, or they use Roman numerals. Having gang tattoos on one's face is a clear sign that they are one of the most ruthless and high-ranking members of the organization. Crossing paths with such a person on the street is the same as staring death in the face. A spiderweb tattoo represents being caught in the web of justice and serving a long prison sentence. The devil horns tattoo is a dark symbol that represents these individuals' worship of the devil. Some even claim that they carried out their actions under the devil's command. A teardrop tattoo signifies that the person has ended someone's life. The number of teardrops indicates how many lives they've taken. If there are 3 teardrops, it suggests that the tattoo's owner has taken so many lives that they've lost count. With the phrase "laugh now, cry later," these masks or clown tattoos send a clear message. Stay strong in the face of hardship now and deal with the consequences later.
Are all these people truly bad?
They're on another level, high-profile criminals who will never change their mentality.
If you look at the upside, there's a catwalk area.
Guards consistently watch over the inmates from this elevated spot above the cells. If anything suspicious occurs, they will intervene while an extensive network of cameras observes every corner 24/7, ensuring nothing goes unnoticed. The modules are kept lit all day and night for monitoring. When the sun goes down, the lights stay on all the time.
They are constantly being observed. I think this is one of the hardest things. When they try to sleep, they use their towels and cover their eyes to block the light. Preacher here is teaching some of the important lessons from the Bible to the inmates. They're doing physical exercise over here. There's a trainer there. This is the only time these inmates get out of their cells.
These activities take place for a total of 1 hour per week, under the watch of armed guards. For the rest of the time, they are locked inside. They used to control the streets. Now, they can't even take a step with their free will.
It's a rotating schedule. There's not enough space, so they can't all go out on the same day.
Has there ever been a chaotic incident when these inmates were outside of their cells?
So far, nothing.
Whenever we focus the camera on a cell, we often catch a prisoner silently mouthing words. Even behind bars, gang members attempt to send orders to the outside. This prisoner was doing just that, but we censored him to block the message. Despite the crackdown, these groups still hold significant power outside. Rumors suggest they have plans for taking revenge by targeting innocent people. But in response, the authorities threaten to impose even harsher measures on imprisoned members.
If they do that, there won't even be one meal in prison. Uno. I swear to God they won't eat a grain of rice. Let's see how long their homeboys last inside.
Here they get 3 meal times: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast is usually beans and rice. For lunch, they get white rice and pasta. And dinner's pretty much the same. The only thing that changes is the drink. There's no nutritious food like chicken or meat. This is the lunch. It's rice, pasta, and 2 tortillas.
Does the menu vary from day to day?
No.
Is it the same every day?
It's always the same. It's for freshmen.
Okay. It's a sugary drink. I'm going to taste it for myself.
Inmates must eat with their hands and clean their plates before returning them. With a diet lacking in protein, many likely suffer from nutritional deficiencies. Before starting our interview with an inmate, I want to show you one more place that is even more extreme than what you've seen so far.
Here we are in the isolation cell area. If inmates break a rule, they can be sent to these isolation cells according to the legislation. The law gives me the right to keep the prisoners in isolation for up to 15 days. These cells have sealed doors. Through this grid, I can see them and identify who's inside.
Dang, no light.
Serve food here, and we also use this space to put handcuffs on them before opening the door to move them from here to their cell.
Welcome to the isolation cell. If an inmate misbehaves, this is where he ends up. He won't know the time or how much longer he'll be kept inside. For days or even weeks, he sleeps on this concrete bed without ever leaving. They are cut off from the outside world, left alone with nothing but their thoughts.
This is where they supply their water.
This is like close to medieval dungeons.
They take their water here, and this is where they pee.
The basin for drinking water and the toilets are located side by side. The toilet looks recently used and dirty, suggesting that this cell has recently been used. The only light they have is this little hole that barely lets the sunshine in. This openness is also the sole source of fresh air.
What is the most challenging thing about isolation room, according to you?
Inside, you don't even see your hands. So when someone is isolated, it is necessary for them to have something, a book, anything, to keep their mind clear. But here, they don't have access to any of that. No matter how tough a criminal is, this kind of isolation breaks them. This is necessary for the type of offenders that we have here. People who once played God by deciding who would live and who wouldn't live deserve the worst punishment. We don't show them mercy. They can ask for forgiveness, and may God forgive them. But here, justice must be served for so many victims, and it's the least they deserve.
Now we're going to interview the inmate known as Psycho. He has a 34-year criminal history and has spent the last 25 years as a high-ranking member of an organization.
10 minutes. You only have 10 minutes.
12 guards are barely enough to ensure the safety around this inmate.
Remove the mask.
What is your name?
My name is Marvin Ernesto Medrano Vasquez.
How old are you?
I'm 41 years old.
You don't look 41. You look younger, like 35.
That's a good thing that you told me, because I feel old.
Can I see your tattoos?
I'm 13.
When did you join this crime organization?
In 2004, but I started my criminal record since I was 11 years old.
How did you first become involved?
When somebody is born with just a mom and the mom is working, you look for the streets. You look for somebody to help you out. I said, well, my mom's poor, I need some shoes, I need some clothes, and I started robbing. Then I need a father figure because I didn't grow up with my father. And then I looked the group of gangs. Then I did a side, and I came right here to El Salvador, trying to change my life, but I seen that there were more gangs right here, and I started doing the same thing I did upstate, and I got locked up. I've always been one of them persons that wanted to accomplish the things that they put in their minds, and I accomplished everything I had to do right here. But I'm right here. This is how the devil pays the people.
Is it true that to join this crime organization, you need to end someone's life?
Yeah.
But the first one must be one of your relatives, right?
Yeah, because you got to gain territory for your gang. I lost my mom, my dad, my son, everything right here because of the gangs. When I could be with my family, upstate, the United States, a better life. But, you know, we took wrong decisions, and this is the cause of this. That's why I tell the youth, go to school, listen to your mom, listen to your dad. Don't live this life that we live right here. There's no way out.
How many people's lives have you ended? Is it 5 or 10? How many?
No, if you talk about what you used to do in the jails after, it probably get a few more than 50. You gotta do it sometimes.
How did you become cold-blooded and merciless in time?
I can't really respond you with that question.
How do you feel about not seeing your family forever since you're in Sakat?
I feel bad because I seen my son the last time when he was 5 years old, and he's 21 years old right now. I want to see him. I want to tell him, don't do the same things that your dad did. Look for a good life.
People who have fallen victim because of you will never see their loved ones again. You will also never see your family. How do you cope with emotions like missing someone?
I feel bad. Sometimes, like I tell you, I lay down on my bed and I think a lot of things, and sometimes I cry.
What is your motivation to stay alive here?
To one day change my life and look for God in my life, and I tell God, forgive me. Forgive me because I did some things.
Okay.
Finally, we see the sunlight. Honestly, Sakat is a place you will never wish to end up in, even as a visitor. But for the people who victimized Salvadorans, it is now their forever home. These criminals took the innocent people's right to live, and now they're paying for it. The Salvadoran government's message is clear. Crime is no longer tolerated and the punishment is severe.
El Salvador once had the highest rate of lives lost due to widespread chaos. During its peak, 104 out of every 100,000 people lost their lives in a single year. Previous administrations agreed to a truce with these groups, but this couldn't bring lasting order. Although the current government's methods are controversial, by 2023, the number dramatically dropped to 2.4 per 100,000 people, placing El Salvador among the safest countries in the world for the first time.
So far the results are undeniable. Peace has returned to the neighborhoods. But what about those who were wrongfully imprisoned? Is it true justice or way to control chaos? Are we seeing a lasting solution or just a temporary fix? For now, the answer remains unclear and the world continues to watch. Thank you for watching this documentary. See you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe. Ruhi Chenet was
I am
here.
here because I have homework. Good stream.
Nauru, located in the middle of the vast waters of the Pacific Ocean and appearing just as a tiny dot on the map, it's the smallest independent republic. Hardly 200 people make their way to this country each year. I began this journey by arriving at Istanbul airport 3 hours early. I first flew to San Francisco in 13.5 hours. After a 7-hour layover, I took another long 13-hour flight to Nadi in the Fiji Islands and then waited again for a 7-hour layover. With nearly 75% of its seats unoccupied, the flight to Nauru from Nadi took 4.5 hours, and my 48-hour endless journey finally came to an end. This is the least visited.
Thank I Surge. You Ilkaru I Senate. If you can't find it next time you join stream, I can stream it. Yes, he makes good quality videos.
Damn, bro.
Okay, goodbye.
Okay, see ya. Alright, see you later, Elite Barbarians. See you later, Elite Barbarians.
Holy Sokhta, one of the darkest places in Afghanistan. Holy Sokhta, one of the darkest places in Afghanistan. Beneath this broken breach, nearly 2,000 drug-addicted and homeless people have been living for the past 20 years.
Hundreds and thousands of drug-addicted people under this bridge who cannot even stand.
This is the only place in the world where even dogs
Hello everybody, Shrouded Hand here. Human history is filled with dark and disturbing events. The 20th century saw its fair share of atrocities and death. 2 world wars, a major influenza pandemic, numerous genocides and ethnic purges that left a significant portion of the world drenched in blood. And of course, one of the very worst atrocities of the 20th century came during the Second World War. Millions of mainly Jewish people were forcibly confined in Nazi concentration camps and exterminated. One of the very worst.
That Israel.
Everybody, Rob Ager here. A little bit of information.
You see how long this video is? Yes, you get to enjoy this. You see how long this video is? Yes, you get to enjoy this long-ass video for free, and that's thanks to our sponsors like War Thunder. Check out this game through the link in the description below. Go through that link, and not only do you support this show, but you get a free premium tank. So imagine for a moment that you can travel backwards through time and give your 16-year-old self the powers of a god. Imagine placing the lives and fates of millions into your trembling teenage hands. Would the result be a happier world, a utopia, or would it be a catastrophe for everyone involved, including your younger self? In October 54 AD, the Roman Empire made this little thought experiment a terrifying reality. They elevated an emotionally unstable 16-year-old boy to the position of emperor. That boy's name? Well, it was Nero. The last of the Julio-Claudian emperors, Nero transformed the
calls him the top G and top alpha, he's obviously going to come and have to prove it like me, but I'm just a different kind of man. He's a very intelligent, like high IQ guy, that's for sure, but his ego is what will hurt him if he ever comes up against me on the mic, at the presser. I'm willing to go all the way, like Andrew Tate. I'd have to probably
Yeah, time to stop streaming.
Unstable.
Time to stop streaming.
Including your younger self. In October 54 AD, the Roman Empire made this little thought experiment a terrifying reality. They elevated an emotionally unstable 16-year-old boy to the position of emperor. That boy's name? Well, it was Nero. The last of the Julio-Claudian emperors, Nero transformed the greatest empire the world has ever seen into a playground for his darkest desires. He had his own mother murdered, ordered Christians burned alive for entertainment, and indulged in perversions so shocking that make the Marquis de Sade blush. Yet he died beloved by Rome's commoners and convinced that he was the greatest artist who had ever lived. Join us today as we investigate the life of the most infamous Roman of all. And if you were to take a quick glance at the background of Nero, you might assume the emperor had a childhood of unparalleled luxury. Born Lucius Domitius Aenobarbus on December 15, 37 AD, Nero was a member of the Julio-Claudian dynasty, aka the dudes who had been ruling Rome for decades. His mother, Julia Agrippina, commonly known as Agrippina the Younger, was a direct descendant of the first emperor Augustus, and his great-uncle was Claudius. But while that might sound like a ticket to life on Romanese Street, Nero's mother Agrippina could have told him differently. The Julio-Claudians enjoyed nothing more than fratricide. The rot had started way back when Agrippina herself was just a girl growing up with her brother Caligula. As you'll know if you've already watched our Caligula video, Agrippina's dad was a popular general who was in line for the imperial throne, so naturally Agrippina's adopted grandfather, the Emperor Tiberius, had him poisoned in 19 AD. It was just the first in a long line of Julio-Claudian family murders. So let's jump ahead to 37 AD. Tiberius is dead and Agrippina's brother Caligula inherits the throne. At first, things were fine. It was during this period of calm that Agrippina gave birth to Nero. But then Caligula had one of his trademark cuckoo moments and decided Agrippina was plotting to kill him. So he took all of her property and banished her to a tiny island where she could have no contact with her son. Dumped with a random aunt, young Nero was forced to make do with a dancer as a tutor. If that sounds actually kinda alright, well, just know that dancers, actors, and poets were considered the lowest of the low in Roman society, basically no better than prostitutes. It seems likely Nero's aunt felt there was no point wasting good money on a boy who might not live long anyway. Knowing Caligula's paranoia, it'd be a miracle if Nero reached his 5th birthday. But thank Jupiter, that miracle happens. On the 24th of January 41 AD, the elite Praetorian Guard assassinated Caligula, stabbing him to death outside the Palatine Games. They then marched straight to Claudius and declared him the new emperor. So there was this blink and you'll miss it moment at the start.
Bruh. What am I even looking at? What am I even looking at?